In working with survivors of childhood sexual abuse, particularly those who have been sexually abused by a parent or a close family member, when we go into the ancestral history, what becomes clear is that there was sexual abuse perpetuated through the line. I would say in about 80% of cases, if not 90%, the person who abused them was sexually abused themselves as a child. The chain and the cycle of trauma continues because they then enact it on their own children. The question is why? The first thing I'd like to say is not everybody who's been through childhood sexual abuse abuses their children. Definitely not. When you have been through a healing journey and you've healed the sensations that are emerging in your body, and you can distinguish between arousal and fear, and you've understood what has truly happened to you, you don't pass that on. You don't unconsciously try to recreate situations in order to fulfill these sensations and urges in your body, which you don't understand. The reason why parents enact this on their children when they have experienced it themselves is because they're seeking a resolution for something deep inside them that they never resolved. By that, I mean it holds an immense amount of emotional charge in the body. There is a level of nervous system dysfunction that comes with that. There is disconnection and dissociation that comes with not being able to accurately interpret body sensations. As a result, there's this feeling inside of their inner shadow. It feels like there's this dark pull. People describe it as a demon or an entity. It pulls them to do bad things. While it's doing that, they lose control over themselves and their body. Part of their psyche checks out and this other thing takes over. They do bad things even to their own children. By them enacting it, which is what enactment is, the recreation of a wound, the enactment of childhood sexual abuse, is that person seeking some kind of resolution in the darkest, most distorted way, because they are completely in their shadow. They are completely oblivious. Sometimes they don't even know that they've been sexually abused. They just have these sensations in their body and these thoughts that run through their mind. This is the way the shadow distorts itself and recreates suffering and pain until somebody decides, I'm going to heal, I'm going to illuminate the shadow, and I'm going to bring light to this ancestral chain of abuse. If you recognize that in maybe your parents or your guardian or your teacher or whoever it was, your friend, your family friend, sometimes if you know that person enough, they might start to open up about their own childhood. And this happens a lot of the time when people are in the healing journey. They say, I started talking to my dad and he actually started to tell me that he's got a lot of things that he doesn't remember from his childhood, and he was beaten up and he doesn't want to talk about anything else. Then the next conversation they have, the dad starts to allude to there being some forms of sexual violence. And then the person starts to realize, okay, my dad did this to me, but this was also done to my dad. How far back does this chain reaction go? Understanding that is not necessarily going to make you feel better, but it's going to give you context. Wounded people hurt people. And your parents, your caregivers, the teachers, whoever was involved in the abuse was no doubt deeply, deeply wounded. Now, that in itself doesn't, as I say, make you feel better or give you resolution, but it can help you to contextualize your healing journey and really differentiate yourself from all these people who've come before, who have refused to heal, who've turned away from their hearts, from their truth and from their higher self. And then you're there willing and courageous, and you are, because you're here, you're listening to this, you're doing the work, and you're differentiating yourself. You're saying, I don't accept that for myself and the people and the generations to come. I don't accept that. I'm not going to be a perpetrator and the person that continues these cycles of abuse. I am different. Use that to give you strength in your healing journey. Use that, because sometimes you're going to hit these places where it feels like you're at rock bottom and you start to wonder why you're doing this healing work. And sometimes the only thing you can hold on to is that you are doing what no one has done before, and try your best to let that fuel you into your deeper healing.